Welcome to the True Crimes Explained podcast. I'm your host Brandon. I'm with my co-host Matthew.
Yeah.
And today we'll be talking about the Kenneth Foster Jr. case.
Okay, so who Kenneth Foster was the man who was charged with capital murder despite not being the one who actually pulled the trigger. He was initially the getaway driver, and it is unclear if he was threatened, meaning they just walked up and say, "Hey, you're helpless with this crime," or if he was intentionally on the plane to help them kill the hood. To go into more detail about this case, the victim and the aggressor had no prior knowledge of each other, and this was supposed to be just another robbery. My personal opinion is that he was guilty, considering he was in the car with the three other guys, and one of them had a firearm. The name of the man with the firearm was Mauricio Brown, though we do not have information on which firearm was used. Maybe it was just a pistol or something. Who knows?
Okay, so here's what I think, what I believe, and the facts of this. I do believe he is guilty on his part. He is an accomplice. He is the getaway driver. He did help someone get away from a crime scene that's illegal. He was involved with the prior robberies. Kenneth himself knew that doing those robberies was wrong. He still went along with it. He even admits it in the Netflix show I Am a Killer, a Netflix show that interviews inmates on death row, or I guess life imprisonment. And you know where they talked about what they did and what happened on that day, and I guess depending on who did the crime of that specific case. He in the show claimed he felt peer pressured, still went through with his actions. And yes, I do think, and I think everyone else can agree, he should be found guilty on his part for being an accomplice. What I don't agree is him getting charged with capital murder. Capital murder carries a harsh sentence of life imprisonment without parole or the death penalty. I want you to think about this. Does someone deserve the death penalty for just being the getaway driver?
No.
I hope you said no, because it wouldn't really make sense.
I say no, so y'all better say no.
It is everyone's opinion at the end of the day. I would think not, because he didn't directly kill someone, but he did still indeed help someone get away. Okay, so we knew Brown, the real murderer. Mauricio Brown is the real murderer, killed LaHood. It only makes sense he gets charged with capital murder. Perhaps the death penalty, or life imprisonment, depending on how you view it. But because of the law of parties, law we have in Texas, Kenneth Foster was tied to the crime, and thus him also receiving the death penalty.
What is interesting is that the lawyer representing Foster failed to bring up the key points that might have helped his client, and failed to pursue important testimony in the case.
Mm-hmm.
Even in a court document, the juror in Foster's original case said that he would have a different verdict if he knew Foster lacked foreknowledge of the shooting. Which I think is just bullcrap. Everyone should have that information. It's important in the freaking case. You need that information to... Yeah.
Now I think that it's time to be talking about the trial itself here. The evidence that was presented in court. So we know for a fact, this is no lie, this is the truth. Kenneth and his buddies were involved with crimes. You should be charged with that. You should be punished. So we know Foster was only the getaway driver. Foster was presented at the crime scene, but however, with Michael LaHood, the victim that was shot and killed fatally, he was 70 away from where
70 feet.
70 feet away from where LaHood was fatally shot. So what happened after he was shot? Brown went back to the car, told Foster to start driving.
So that could either mean he was, like I said before, he could have been threatened or intentionally on plan, because if Foster knew when to drive, he would just drive when he saw him running. But the way he approached the car, with the way Brown approached the car, makes it seem like he was threatening him to drive by what you said, start driving, of course. On the legal aspect, Texas has a law where a person can be held criminally responsible for the actions of another person if they encourage, aid, or assist or help in any sort of crime. Since this is a capital murder case, Foster was facing the death penalty even though he didn't directly commit the murder, which we said previously it was Mauricio Brown, the one with the pilot. The law of parties in any situation, if you are in aid of the criminal who is committing the crime, you are affected and you will be put to court, and your sentence, however rough it may be, that's what you get. I have a question for anyone who is, for some reason, a criminal listening to this. If you're a criminal friend, murdered someone, you were involved, regardless if you knew or not, would you take the death penalty despite not directly committing? Would you take the death penalty despite not directly committing the answer?
I say no. I am not gonna. I'm not gonna die for my friend, dude. If you did the crime, you deserve to die. I'm sorry. Yeah,
Well, yes, that's fair. Logical answer should be no. But if you're willing to help by aiding another one who actually committed the murder, therefore you will get it no matter what. You can't say yes, no, I'm sorry. Please. There's what I'm saying is, will you die for your criminal friend because he killed somebody and you didn't? If you said no, then stop murdering people. Just be a good citizen. Become a freaking, I don't know, work at a construction site, a restaurant, whatever you want to work. You could even become a police officer with the right amount of training if you wanted to. I mean, going from criminal to police officer, that's one heck of a road, my guy. You're gonna struggle. You're gonna really struggle on that.
I don't understand why murder people. Well, what do you achieve? You're only punishing yourself at the end. Ted Bundy. Okay, so in 2000, sorry about that. In 2005, there was judicial opinions between a federal court and the U.S. Court of Appeals.
I'm wearing shoes with squeaky bottoms.
The judge for the federal district court named Royal Ferguson overturned Foster's original sentencing. However, the U.S. Courts of Appeal overturned that, reversed it. So he was put on death row again. The court pointed out evidence such as the robberies of that night, Kenneth's knowledge about the firearms, and the lack of remorse that he had during court.
Finally, in 2007, former governor of Texas, Rick Perry, don't know who that is, just look him up, you can do this whenever. We don't know.
He commuted
Foster for life imprisonment. Just 6 hours after or before Foster was supposed to be executed. He's now eligible in parole in 2036, but in 2021 he murdered an inmate, and according to Texas law, being convicted for a previous crime or murdering someone during a life sentence can carry the death penalty. It means you're out of here. You are down there. Imagine being spared from the death penalty and eligible for parole